Hello everyone. In this video we will learn about complex numbers, that is section 1.6 of the book. I always told you that square root of a negative number is not defined. So as whenever we are working in the real domain, so we established mathematicians established a different domain apart from the real domain, that is complex domain. So set of all complex numbers are of the form a plus ib, where a comma b will belong to set of all real numbers. So what do you mean by I, where I is nothing but square root of -1. So any square root of any negative real number can be expressed as, suppose you have square root of d where d belongs to r. So this can be expressed as -1 times -d using the square root root properties. So this is nothing but I square root of d. So these are all the complex numbers. So complex numbers, which is denoted by C, is nothing but set of all numbers of the form a plus ib such that a comma b belongs to r and I is nothing but square root of -1. So here a is said to be the real part of the number, complex number, real part, and b is said to be the complex part of the number. Complex part of the number. So one number can be represented as this, that is a plus ib, where a is the real part of the complex number and b is the complex part of the complex number, that is they also say it to be imaginary part. So imaginary part. So every real number is also a complex number, where suppose if 4 is a real number, right? So 4 can be expressed as 4 plus I0, where the imaginary part is 0. Therefore every real number is a complex number, but every complex number is not a real number. That we know because I square root of -1 is not defined when we are working with real domain. So we know that R is a subset of C. It is actually a proper subset of C. So with this we will move further and learn certain operations, arithmetic operations that we can do. Before that, let us solve some examples where we identify the real part of the complex number as well as the imaginary part of the complex number. So that would be I will move for the exercises. So that would be exercise number 8 and 10 in the book. So number 8 says, find the real and imaginary parts of the complex numbers. So the number given is -6 plus 4i. So here it is very easy. So real part is -6 and imaginary part is the coefficient of I, therefore it is 4. Then number 10 tells you that asks you to find the real and imaginary parts of complex numbers again, but this is kind of a fraction, 4 plus 7i divided by 2. So you can rewrite this given expression as 4 divided by 2 plus 7 divided by 2i. We cannot do anything for 7 divided by 2, but we can definitely reduce this into 2, because 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 plus 7 by 2i. So now this is of the form a plus ib, where a is 2, therefore that is the real part of the complex number, and b is 7 over 2, so that is the imaginary part of the complex number. So let us now define all the arithmetic operations on complex numbers. Definition. First is addition. Suppose you are given two complex numbers, a plus ib and c plus id. C plus id. So how do you add these two numbers? This is one complex number and this is another complex number. It is nothing but adding the coefficients of real part and adding the coefficients of imaginary parts of each of the numbers. So if you add the coefficients of real parts of this number, so that would be this number with this number, so that would be a plus c. So plus, and adding the coefficients of the imaginary parts of the number. So how did we get, okay, let me write it again. So this would be b plus d. So how did we get this to be true? Suppose you can actually expand this as a plus ib plus c plus id. You know that addition is commutative, so grouping the like terms we get a plus c plus ib plus id, right? So but what is common in ib plus id? That is I. So take out I common, so you are left with I plus b plus d. So this is of the form a plus c, which is addition of two real numbers that will again be a real number, plus I times b plus d, where b plus d is also a real number. So this is one complex number. So that is how we got the rule or the definition of addition of complex numbers. The same thing applies to subtraction of complex numbers. Suppose you are given two complex numbers, a plus ib and c plus id. So how do you subtract them? So this is equal to a plus ib minus c minus id. So applying distributive law here. So then grouping all the like terms, we get a minus c plus I times b minus d. So subtracting two real numbers would give us real numbers again. So this together is one complex number, and this is defining the subtraction of two complex numbers. That is a plus ib minus c plus id is nothing but is equal to a minus c plus I times b minus d. So this will be treated as the definition of subtraction. Okay, so now moving further, multiplication. Third arithmetic operation, it is multiplication of two complex numbers. So that is a plus ib times c plus id. So in the book there is a mention of a plus bi, and like they write the complex numbers in the form of a plus bi and c plus di. That doesn't make a difference because multiplication is commutative. If it is square root of -1 times square root of some real number, it is same as square root of some real number times square root of -1. So it doesn't matter if you write it as a plus ib. So don't get confused with it. Times c plus id. So what would be the definition? So how do we arrive at the definition? So the definition is, it says that ac minus bd plus AD plus BC times I. So we will just multiply the given complex numbers using FOIL method. That is, multiply first terms first and outer terms first, inner terms first, and the last terms first. So last terms later. So that would be first terms. If you multiply first terms, you get A and C. So that would be AC. Then outer terms are A and ID. So if you multiply A and ID, you will be getting plus ADI. Okay. And then inner terms are IB and C plus IBC. And the last terms of each of the number is nothing but IB times ID. So that would be IB times ID. So that is nothing but AC plus A. So I is common in these two terms, so I'll be taking I outside the brackets. So we will be left with AD plus BC plus this reduces to I square BD. So we know that I is nothing but square root of -1, right? So I square would be square root of -1 the whole square. So if you are squaring a square root, you will get back the number that is inside the square root. So this will be -1 itself. So what happens to the terms now? This would be AC plus I times AD plus BC minus BD. Okay, so now grouping all the numbers, like expressing it in terms of a complex number, standard form of a complex number, this would reduce to AC minus BD or DB. Okay, I'm sorry, AC minus BD times plus I times AD plus BC. So this is how you got the definition of multiplication of complex numbers. So you can go through the same process that I did every time you multiply it, or you can remember the formula. It doesn't make any difference. So sometimes you have to multiply using the FOIL method, and it doesn't matter here. Like, knowing the formula is not a necessity. Just know how to arrive at the formula, or how to do the operations is good enough. So now we will do some problems like add and subtract and multiply and divide. Okay, I haven't defined how do we do division. So we will add, subtract and multiply complex numbers. I will move to the exercise problems. Okay, this is problem number 20 in the book. Okay, so that says that you have to do the operations that are given. So it says the question is -3 plus 4i minus 2 minus 5i. So you are asked to subtract the two complex numbers. This is one complex number and this is another complex number. So you are asked to subtract. So as we defined earlier, we are going to subtract the real part first and then subtract the imaginary part later, associating the imaginary part with an I. So what we will be getting doing the process that I described now, so that we will be getting -3 minus 2 plus 4 minus into minus would be plus 4 plus 5 times I, correct? So this would be -5 plus 9i. So this is -5 plus 9i. This is the solution after you subtract the two given complex numbers. The next question is number 22. So here you are adding the complex numbers. So that is 3 minus 2i plus -5 minus 1/3i. So doing the same process as we did earlier, the imaginary parts of these two numbers are 3 and -5. Now you are adding the complex numbers, so you need not worry about the signs associated with the real parts as well as imaginary parts. So this will be 3 minus 5, and you have -2i and -3i as the imaginary parts. So plus -2 minus 1/3 times I. So this would be 3 minus 5 is nothing but -2, plus the one in the brackets have to be simplified using the LCM method. So this would be -6 minus 1 times I. So we will get the answer to be -7/3i. So writing it further like this, so plus into minus is minus, so -7/3i. So this is the solution. Now we will do some problems with respect to multiplication. Evaluate the product and write the result in the form of a plus bi. Okay, a plus bi. So I need not write this like this. I'm sorry. The question was the same even for the problem number 22. So here this is of the form a plus bi. So there has to be plus sign in between. Okay, so now coming to the product number 32. So you have to multiply two complex numbers, negative 2 plus I times 3 minus 7i. So I will use both the methods. I will first apply the formula also, and also do it using the FOIL method, so that you understand the underlying process that goes behind establishing a definition or a formula. So this will be a plus bi times c plus di is nothing but ac minus bd plus ad plus bci. So whenever you are using the formula like already or the definition, I expect you to write down the definition before you solve the problem. So I will allot certain weightage of points to the definition that you write or the formula that you write also. So you will have to write the method that you are using or the formula or the definition that you are using while solving the problem. Okay, so if I use this thing, so the a here is 2 and b is 1, correct, and c is 3 and d is negative 7. So now applying the formula, I get product will be equal to AC, that is negative 2 times C is 3 minus BD, that is 1 times D is negative 7. Okay, so I'll write a big brackets, plus AD is nothing but negative 2 times D is negative 7 plus BC is nothing but 1 times 3. Okay, this is associated with I. Fine. Now simplifying the terms, we get something in the real part to be negative 6 plus 7 plus, so 14 plus 3i. Okay, so simplifying it further, this would be 1 plus sorry, yeah, the I should be outside the brackets. Okay, 1 plus 14 plus 3 would be 17i. So this is already in the form of a plus bi, so no need to express it or do something with the result to express it in a standard form. So this is how you multiply the complex numbers. So now I will define dividing complex numbers. So this is where you apply what you learnt about rationalizing denominators or numerators. That you apply it while you divide the complex numbers. So to define, to define dividing complex numbers. So to simplify, how does it look? It would be a plus ib divided by c plus id, right? C plus id. So multiply the numerator and the denominator by the complex conjugate of the denominator. So before that, I should define what is the complex conjugate of a number, right? So before I define the dividing process, I will define complex conjugate. So given a complex number, a plus ib. So you usually represent complex numbers as z. So if z is a plus ib, its complex conjugate is defined to be z bar. It is denoted as z bar, overhead bar, which is equal to a minus ib. So you are going to reverse the sign of the coefficient, that is you are going to reverse the sign of the imaginary part of the complex number. So that would be the complex conjugate of z. So you can see that z bar will give you, this is a very famous formula. So z times z bar would give you, that is nothing but a plus ib times a minus ib. So if you apply a plus b times a minus b, that is the special product formula, you will be getting a square minus ib the whole square, right? But this is nothing but a square minus I square b square. But what is I square? I square is nothing but -1. So negative of negative will give you positive. So you will be left with a square plus b square. So this is a very famous formula. That is, if you multiply complex number with its conjugate, you are getting a real number. So you can get rid of the imaginary part of the numbers by multiplying a complex number by its conjugate. So this is nothing but the rationalizing process. So if you observe carefully, this is very similar to the rationalizing denominator or numerator process that we learnt in the algebraic expressions, but this is for the complex numbers. So coming back to dividing the complex numbers, so if you are given a problem like a plus ib divided by c plus id, how do you simplify the quotient? You multiply the numerator and denominator by complex conjugate. So complex conjugate of the denominator. So multiply the numerator and the denominator of the complex conjugate of the denominator. So that is, you multiply it by c minus id by c minus id. So this process is not making any difference to the original quotient that was given. So original problem that was given, because this particular term is nothing but 1. Okay. So but this helps us get rid of the complex number inside below in the denominator. So we can get rid of the complex number and further complications will be avoided. So what we will be left with is the denominator as we defined earlier. This is z bar, so this will be c square plus d square, right? So c square plus d square, and the numerator will be nothing but multiplication of two complex numbers. So it is ac plus bd, ac plus bd times plus bc minus adi. So this is how you simplify or find the quotient of the two complex numbers. Okay, let us do a problem for this. I will take a exercise problem. Okay, evaluate the quotient and write the result in the form of a plus bi. Okay, this is problem number 40 in the book, which says 5 minus I divided by 3 plus 4i. Okay, so now if you multiply, by the definition you should multiply the numerator and the denominator by the conjugate of the denominator. So that is nothing but times 3 minus 4i by 3 minus 4i, correct? So the denominator is nothing but the complex number multiplied by its conjugate. So we already established the formula above. So that would be 3 square. A square is nothing but 3 square. So that is 9 plus 4 square is 16. So you got rid of the complex part in the denominator. And the numerator is nothing but 5 minus I times 3 minus 4i. So if you apply the FOIL method, I promised to do the FOIL method above also, but I think I just moved on using the formula. So I will apply the FOIL method now. So the first terms are 5 and 3. So multiply that, you will get 15. So then the outer terms are 5 and negative 4i. So that would be negative 20i. And the inner terms are negative I times 3. So that would be negative 3i. And the last terms are negative I times negative 4i. We will get positive 4i square. Correct? Divided by 9 plus 16 is 25. Okay. So the numerator will reduce to, you can observe 15 minus I is common in both the terms. That is 20i and 3. So I will take out I common. So we will be left with 20 plus 3. Okay, I square is nothing but negative 1. So negative 1 times 4 is negative 4. So this will be negative 4 divided by 25. That will be equal to 15 minus 4 is 11 minus 23i divided by 25. But you are asked to, this is 25. Okay, now you are asked to express the result in the form of a plus ib. So you have to write the coefficient, write the real part and imaginary part. So this will be 11 by 25 minus 23 by 25 I. So this is the proper expression of the result in the terms of the standard form a plus ib. Next we will do another problem. This is problem number 42 in the book. This is 2 minus 3i inverse. So my 2 and z look alike. Okay. So 2 minus 3i inverse, this can be represented as 1 divided by 2 minus 3i. As I said, every real number is a complex number. Therefore, 1 will also be a complex number where the imaginary coefficient part, where the imaginary part is 0. So now to simplify this, we have to multiply the numerator and the denominator with the complex conjugate of the denominator. So we will be getting 1 divided by 2 minus 3i times 2 plus 3i divided by 2 plus 3i. So the denominator will reduce to 4 plus 9. So how did you get this? This is nothing but z times z bar, that is number multiplied by its conjugate is nothing but a square plus b square, where a is the real part and b is the imaginary part of both the complex number as well as its conjugate. So we will be getting 2 square, that is 4, and 3 square is 9. And what happens to the numerator? It is 1 times 2 plus 3i. There is nothing much to do in the numerator. You just have to write it to be 2 plus 3i. Okay, this can be further simplified as 2 plus 3i divided by 13. To express this as a plus bi format again, so that is 2 divided by 13 plus 3 divided by 13i. So be careful to read the question properly so that you will understand what do you have to do with the problem. Like if you are asked to express the final result in the form of the standard form a plus ib, you will have to do this process, the last process that I did. If not, you can leave it like this. So you have to be careful. If you do not do it when you are asked to do something, you will be losing points. So we are done with division now. Now let us deal with square roots of negative numbers. I already discussed about or talked about square roots of negative numbers. So like how do you negative numbers? So if you are given negative r, where r then the principal square root of negative r, that is square root of negative r, is nothing but I square root of r. How did you get this? I told you that if you write negative square root of r using the rules of square roots, you can write it as square root of negative 1 times square root of r, right? But square root of negative 1 is I already discussed this, so this is a part of the definition, so I am writing it again. So square root of negative r is nothing but I square root of r. Okay, this helps us to solve problems, and we can write square root of ri, but there is a tendency of most of us to extend the square root even to I. This is very different from square root of r times I. So to avoid that, we write this as this as I square root of r. Okay, to avoid confusion. So we will do some things where we apply whatever we learned now. Evaluate the radical expression and express the result in the form of a plus bi. Okay, this is problem number 54 in the book. This would be square root of negative 81 divided by 16. Okay, so we can actually split the square roots using the rules of square root. So this would be square root of 81 divided by square root of 16, correct? So square root of 81 is nothing but you can write it by the definition that we did here. You can write it as I times square root of 81 divided by square root of 16 is 4. So this will be equal to I times square root of 81 is I times 9 divided by 4. I will do another one which is little complex, problem number 58. So this was asked by a student in the office hours as well. So if the student watches the video, I explained to the student, but like if anyone have problems with this, I think this is asked as a homework questions also. So square root of 3 minus square root of negative 4 times square root of 6 minus square root of negative 8. So again use the FOIL method. So these are the first terms, square root of 3 times square root of 6. Then the outer terms are these. So we will get negative square root of negative 4 times square root of positive negative 8, correct? So then inner terms. Okay, so inner terms are these, that is nothing but negative of square root of negative 4 times negative square root of 6. So that would be negative of square root of negative 4 times square root of 6. Then the last terms are these. So that would be plus, okay, did I do something wrong? Yes. Okay, I have 3 symbols over here. Okay, I should multiply this and this. So that would give me negative times square root of 3 times square root of negative 8. So simplifying this using the rules of the square roots, we get 3 times 6 is 18 plus square root of 4 times 8 is 32, but negative sign will vanish after you multiply. So that would be square root of 32 minus square root of negative 24, square root of negative 24 minus square root of negative, sorry, this is, yeah, correct, again 24. Okay, so this would give us square root of 18 is nothing but how can we write 18 in terms of 9 2s are, right? Square root of 9 times 2 plus square root of 32 can be written as so 4 and 8, okay, 16 and 2, correct? So minus square root of 24 can be written as 4 and 6. Okay, I think I'm redoing what I did above. Okay, yeah, negative 4 times 6, or you can put the negative sign in for 6. So minus square root of 3 times 4 times negative 2. So this would give us 3 square root of 2 plus 4 square root of 2 minus 2 square root of negative 1 times square root of 6 minus 2 square root of negative 1 times square root of 6. So this will be nothing but square root of 2 times 3 plus 4. Square root of 2 is common in both the terms. So minus, this would be 2i square root of 6 minus 2i square root of 6. So this will, upon further simplification, gives us 7 square root of 2 minus 4i square root of 6. So this is not in the standard form, that is a plus ib. You can write it as 7 square root of 2 plus of minus 4 square root of 6i. So this is how you do the simplify the rational expressions. So here you didn't have any variable as such, you just had numbers, real numbers. You just had to simplify it further. So there are certain quadratic equations which cannot be solved using the trial and error method that we learned in the algebraic expressions section. So that is, there may be certain coefficients at the end of the terms where we cannot express the middle term as a sum or difference of factors of the last term. So in such case, we have a formula to solve the quadratic expression. So we will learn that now. Complex solutions of quadratic expressions. Quadratic equations. So the general form of quadratic equations are of the form ax square plus bx plus c, right? So, and a is not equal to 0. Then the solution is nothing but x is equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. You can use the trial and error method, or you can use this. So you get both complex roots as well as real roots using this formula. So but how do we identify if the solution has a real solution or it has a complex solution? This term, which is b square minus 4ac, helps us in identifying that. So if b square minus 4ac is less than 0, then equation has no real solution. So if there is no real solution, you will have complex solutions. So this is called as I think determinant, or I have forgotten what they call it. Okay, so yeah, now moving further, we will solve certain quadratic equations using the given formula. Yeah, this is problem number t plus 3 plus 3 by t is equal to 0. So this is problem number 70 in the book. So how do you solve this? Multiplying t through for all the terms, you get t square plus 3t plus 3 is equal to 0. The denominator when cross multiplied with 0 will give you 0. So this is the quadratic equation where a is 1, b is 3 and c is 3. So applying the formula, we get t is equal to negative b. I expect you to state the formula. So negative b plus or minus root b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. So t will be equal to negative 3 plus or minus square root of b square is 9 minus 4ac is nothing but 12. Okay, 4ac is nothing but 4 3s are 12. 12 times 3 is 36 divided by 2a, that is 2. So this would give us negative 3 plus or minus square root of 36 minus 9 would be negative 27 divided by 3. So this is nothing but negative 3 plus or minus square root of 9 times negative 3 divided by 3. So this would give us negative 3 plus or minus square root of 9 is 3, and square root of negative 3 can be written as square root of negative 1 times square root of 3 divided by 3. So if you take out 3 common in the numerator, you will get negative 1 plus or minus square root of 3i or I square root of 3 divided by 3. 3 and 3 will get cancelled. So the roots are 1 plus or minus I square root of 3. So there are two roots. T1 is 1 negative 1 plus I square root of 3 and T2 is negative 1 minus I square root of 3. So these are the roots of the given equation, problem number 70. So I will give out the quiz questions in this video. So quiz 1.6.1, there may be repetitions because I didn't actually check the homework problems. If there are repetitions, you need not write the solution again. So just mention that it was a part of the homework 3. I will just check those questions. If there are no repetitions, you will have to write them. So I will check it while grading, but I do not have time for scrutinizing things. So this would be problem number 4, 16, 24, 26, 36, 46, 60, 64 and 68. So all these are quiz problems. So this will be kind of a test or revision of whatever we talked till now. See you in the next video, where we will learn about 1-1 and inverse functions, that is 1-to-1 and inverse functions. To just break the monotony, I completed 1.6 soon after 2.7, so I'll go back to 2.8 in the next video. Thank you.